Hi everyone, still in the mountains here. I filmed with the camera turned the other way looking down at the UCSB campus, and I'm looking at it now. It's quite amazing, but these are the mountains behind me, and you can see people live up here. And the one thing you can't see from here, which is kind of amazing, is that there's still a good bit of agricultural production here in this area in Goleta. Goleta primarily was an agricultural region before it developed, and UCSB campus and all. A lot of citrus is grown and other things, and you can see some of it down in the valley here. I'm looking at citrus trees and all. In fact, this is generally a pretty productive agricultural area. You move down to Ventura, but especially Oxnard. Quite a bit is happening here. We tend to think of California's agricultural production on the other side of the mountains, but it's here as well. But this is actually San Pedro's park that I'm in right now. So anyhow, so it's a different kind of reading that we had this week insofar as it's not a novel. It's so far we've had Kim Stanley Robinson's novel, and then we've also had Sarah Ray's book, Field Guide to Climate Anxiety. This is different. This is more of a scientific reading, but more for a general audience, where Ram, who's going to come and visit the class, lays out the basic science behind the climate crisis, and I wanted to have that. I wanted to have you familiar with that, because you should know about the mechanics of it, and I think he does a wonderful job in that chapter, and in general that book, which you were able to download in its entirely, Bending the Curve. It does a good job of laying out a number of issues regarding the climate crisis. Now, what can you comment on this week, because it's sort of scientific? Well, there are a lot of facts there, and I'm just curious what you knew and what you didn't know, and how informative you found something like that. And the question I have for you is, should I be including things like that in this class? And really, it's time to maybe make that call or evaluate that. So what I mean by that is, what do you think? Should the course involve more works like that, more, not scientific, but more descriptive, more focusing right on the issue, rather than something like the novel that we read? You're going to see I'm going to continue to mix it up a little, and that's basically been my approach this in the course, is to have a little bit of everything. So it could have been all novels, and there's certainly enough Cli-Fi novels to have done that, and there's certainly enough specific issues. We could have whole readings on methane, things of that sort, radiative forcing and all. But I didn't want to do just that either, so I decided to give you a little mix. And really, the question is then, what's your takeaway? What do you find useful and interesting? And this gives you, I think, an opportunity, since you've had the different kinds of readings now. And let's not forget about Sarah Ray's book, whether something like that, addressing the emotional issues here, is valuable too. If you think about it, it's very different, right? On the one hand, thinking about the pure science of it, on the other hand, thinking about how it impacts people emotionally. So that's it for what to think about. I've decided to make the talk's pretty short today. And it might be the case because it's freezing up here in the mountains, but in general, I think there's no need to go much longer with it. So, okay, and take care.